doing business, and I think a lot of people, they think, gee, I'll be a photographer, I'll be taking pictures all day. No, 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 no. That's probably 20% of your time.
Right.
You know, the rest of the time, you're marketing, you're editing, particularly now that things have really changed with digital, and that we spend so much time on the computer. You know, I find that for every hour I shoot, I'm on the computer an hour editing. And then you have all this marketing stuff you have to do, administrative things, working on your portfolio, working on your website. I mean, it's constant work. I mean, it's not a walk in the park like a lot of people think it is. So, you know, and we were talking a few minutes ago about the difference between working as an employee, working on your business, as working in your business. You want to discuss that a little bit?
I think that is distinguishing that there are different roles that we play in our business. One is realizing that you're running a business, that yes, you're a photographer or a designer or whatever, you're also a business owner. And a lot of times that doesn't click, that I'm running this business. And so distinguishing between I'm the photographer doing the work, I'm working for the company as a photographer, and then working on the business as I'm a business owner, and I've got to make sure that this business is running. And I think understanding that there's different elements of what your role is, that's a big deal. It makes a big difference for clients, for my clients.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm just understanding that there's that to distinguish how they spend their time, understanding all of those pieces, integrating all of those pieces. I'm marketing, I'm accounting, I'm all these pieces together, understanding that. And a lot of times people don't like those roles, and I think focus on what you are good at and let go of the other stuff, if you're able to.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. I mean, a lot of people really hate doing the book work and stuff like that. Well, then you hire someone. You can get part-time people.
Right.
There's all kinds of people who come part-time. I needed someone to help me with some marketing. I just put an ad in the Rebel over at the UNLV for a marketing major, and she came in and did a great job.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know, it's just part-time type thing. So, you know, if you don't like doing something, you're probably not going to do a very good job of it.
Right.
You know, and so you basically, you know, initially you're kind of wear all the hats because you don't have any money to hire anybody. I was lucky my mom came in and answered the phones for me for a while when I first started, and kind of kept my books for me, which it wasn't a whole lot to keep. But so there's ways of getting around all that. But the thing is, yeah, you're right. It's just there's just so much work involved in it, and you really have to stay on top of it because it's not going to happen without you putting some effort into it.
And I like what you said too about 20% of your time is maybe shooting. I think, and maybe that's not, I don't know, but I think no less than 25% of your time. I mean, sometimes it's more. When you're super busy, you still have to market. You still have to pay attention to that, because when you're super busy, you want that to be consistent. A lot of times, I think clients say to me, how do I be more consistent? It's, you know, up and down, feast or famine. And how we bring consistency to it is when we're consistent with our different roles in the company.
Yeah, yeah, and that's very true. A lot of times when you're very busy is when you should be doing some marketing, because the lull's going to come. You know, it happens. You know, I one time I had like 9 people working for me, and I was shooting. I shot 40 hours a week at least myself. Mm-hmm. I had another shooter, but I had a guy with an MBA who was running my business for me. I had a receptionist. I had full labs, and so I didn't have to do that much. I just came in and I would meet with my office manager at the end of the day and go over everything, and we would plan things out. The only problem I had was he was an MBA and had never printed a picture in his life or developed film. And so the guys in the lab, well, I can't get that done. And I come in and say, like, oh, you can't? I just back on my way. I could have done it. You know, and so, I had done everything in, including cleaning the toilet. So, I knew how long a time it took to do everything. But I found that when you have employees, they tend to let their chores fill the time slot. So if they have a lot to do, they get it done in that 8 hours. If they don't have anything to do, they kind of spread it out rather than getting extra work done. If you work for yourself, you work at 100 miles an hour no matter what you're doing, because you're not getting paid by the hour. You know?
Exactly.
I'm saying,
that 9 to 5 bit kind of goes on the floor.
Yeah, and I think it was John Wooden that had had a saying, I can't remember exactly what it was, basically don't, he was a coach at UCLA, very famous basketball coach. Don't confuse being busy with achieving. In other words, like you can be very busy doing nothing and accomplishing absolutely nothing, but it's busy work. So I have a habit of doing that sometimes. I'll get in, I'll start doing this, and go, well, this is really a waste of time, and I get anything accomplished doing this.
And that's a great point, because another purpose of writing, when we kind of talk about what's my day-to-day plan, how am I spending my time, that's right there.
Yeah, particularly in your own business, time management is very important. You know, you got to sit there and allocate hours to do your marketing and different things that you need to do in the business.
Totally. Yes.
So I know and some of my students, when they give me evaluation sheets on themselves, will say, I'm not very good at time management. How does one, have you ever give advice to people about how to manage your time better?
That's such a funny thing, because we say that in a way like time is something that we have control over, and it's really not. And I think yes, people ask me about that a lot, and I think we get done what we're committed to. That's how we manage our time, is get really clear about what we're committed to, and then because think about that. What gets done around you is what you're really committed to getting done. And so that's why I think it's also important to have a plan and to get clear about what you want, because when you're clear about that, your time, I say, kind of aligns around that, and versus something that we have control over. I mean, I keep the calendar. And one of the things that I find really important for me is I'm committed to having time for my business, time for my son, time for myself, time for my family, time in my life. And one of the ways that I keep that in place is I bring a level. I don't want to be hyper schedule, but I have a level of scheduling things for myself that are important to me. And I know, I use my calendar. I really, really use it. Where I go by, what I have in there is usually what gets done. And then stuff comes up during the day that obviously, may not be in my calendar, and that's fine, but it brings me kind of some form of structure. And I say this all the time, and I know you know me for this, I think, is structure promotes creative freedom. And that is one of my statements that I feel is super important. And it's not about confining as much as supporting what it is that are for me, part of my creativity is my business. And I mean, it is my creativity, what I do, my livelihood. I love what I do, and I'm passionate about it, but I also have to have some form of structure to it so that I'm able to get done and do the things that I want.
Yeah, I know that when I'm one of the kind of guys who go from here to here if I don't have a game plan. And so if I write stuff down in the morning, I'll just put it in my iPhone, and put down a list of things I need to do. If I gotta remember to look at it,
Right.
The only problem.
Right.
But I find I do much better as far as getting things accomplished. Otherwise, I'll be doing this. We always have a habit of wanting to do the things that we enjoy the most. And so I usually try and start with the thing I hate the most, which is usually book work, and get that done. That's one of those necessary evils. But
definitely, and I think that there's certain things that must get done, and that's a great point, is doing those things first. I had a client a couple weeks ago, and she needed to get her taxes done, and she had like 50 invoices to complete. And we had this conversation that instead of, because we think about, are we going to just sit down and knock that out? That may not happen. And more than not, that's probably not, it's probably not going to happen, where we sit down and bust it out. It may. So one of the things that we discussed and I suggested was give yourself an hour in the middle of the day, because for her, that block of time worked well. And so we focused on her, giving herself that time. Well, it's not that my intention for her was that it's not that that's the only time she could do, but it creates a momentum. If she knows that she's gonna work on that at that time, she doesn't have to stress about it. She doesn't have to worry about when am I gonna get it done, when am I gonna get it done. She can go, you know what, I set myself an appointment in my book, I'm gonna focus on it then. And you know, she reported to me last week, she's like, you know what, I knocked it out, I got my taxes done. Okay, great. Again, just giving herself that kind of structure of it.
Don't you have like one day a week that you don't see anybody?
Yeah, Mondays, I
Monday?
never do
Yeah.
clients. And it's my day to work on, you know, do the things I need to get done for my business, contracts, marketing, whatever it may be. And it's not that I don't do it throughout the week, I do, but that's my day. Not to mention, for me, I don't do well starting my week and seeing personally.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that works good for you. It's kind of hard in the photography end because a lot of times, I know in that commercial of it, that room's available Monday to shoot, and it's not going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, so
Right.
I'm kind of stuck into it. But actually, Monday's usually probably the slowest day for commercial guys for some reason.
Interesting.
Well, it's because the guys just, and I hate to have Monday shoots because the marketing people at the hotels aren't there over the weekend, and they come in, and so I don't know what ball's been dropped.
Right?
You know?
See, that's my
Yeah.
point, right there, is Monday, we gotta get our head around the week.
Yeah, that's really probably the best day to do that, you know. And like a lot of portrait studios are open on Saturdays, so it's kind of natural. It's like a lot of beauty salons close Sunday, Monday. Because since you open that Saturday, take that Monday, and that gives you your time to go in and organize things and take care of business.
Yeah.
Talk about these, your little Thursday, first Thursdays, breakfast thing, or
Well, they were happening.
they were happy?
They were happening.
They're not happy anymore?
It's not that they're not happening, what I wanted to restructure them and
Okay.
try an evening.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
working out the details on
Good,
that.
because I can do an evening, I went,
See?
yeah.
Right. So what it is
I'm more into
it's
wine than I am coffee, so.
right,
yeah, yeah.
right. Most people are. So it's a roundtable discussion, and my intention is that we create community, and we, through having a business conversation that's facilitated and focused on different topics, that we support each other in seeing things that maybe, because when we work on our own all the time, we don't have somebody else's perspective, it gets a little narrow.
Yeah.
It's nice to open that up.
Yeah, I've been real active in photography associations throughout my career, and I think they've been real helpful as far as being able to talk to your peers, and you have light problems and so forth, and you know, it's funny how you can really make good friends with your competitors,
Right?
and it's better to be
Sure.
friends with your competitors than enemies with your competitors.
Right?
So, and that's great because you share things. And I know I get referrals from guys that, I'm too busy, this can you handle this for me, and vice versa. So it's good to get that report.
Well, we did one of the roundtable with the AIGA in Orange County, San Diego, Orange County, and we did it for almost 6 years. And that group, they still are tight, and they help each other. And they may be sort of competitors, but they're friends, and that's what was my intention was is and I think that's important as a business owner, is to have people that you trust and rely on and can bounce ideas off of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyhow, I appreciate you enlightening us, and if anybody wants to avail herself to our services, it's envision.com. Getenvision.com.
Yes.
That's with an I.
Yes,
Envision's with an I.
getenvision.com.
Or you can email me and I'll tell you.
Cool.
But she's if you ever get stuck in business, this is the lady to go see because she'll get you on the right path.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rochelle.
Thanks.